What's good, y'all? This your country cousin Pete McCorvey, a.k.a. Petey Mac. Man, get on up here. Pull you up one, light you up one, kick your shoes off. Relax, baby. You around family. We on the porch. It's Pete McCorvey's Porch Talk. Let's do this.
What's going on, y'all? This your country cousin Pete McCorvey, a.k.a. Petey Mac, and welcome back to another session on the porch, man. We back at it once more. Man, this episode here is going to be full. We might run a little longer than normal with our porch talk today, man. So you know what? You know, like I always tell you, whatever you lighten up, whatever you pouring up, either get you more of it or do it in moderation, because we might be here for a while, man. We're starting this episode off. It's the end of an era, y'all. It's the end of an era. Showtime's hit series, The Chi. You know, season 7 ended not too long ago, and they coming up on season 8, but Showtime said after season 8, that's it. It's a wrap. It's ending after 8 seasons. Man, we watched these people grow. They have become family to us. But Showtime says it's time for them to move on and do what they got to do. I'm going to be honest. It's kind of about that time, because it low-key then turned into a modern-day black version of As the World Turns, any other soap opera like Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful, General Hospital, Godlike, whatever it is that when you were sick and you sat down with your grandma and she had you on that couch covered in plastic, drinking ginger ale or 7-Up and eating chicken noodle soup and being quiet while this came on. Yeah, this is starting to get there. They going in so many different directions, man. But hey, man, it was glad this show, like Lena Waithe, I'm glad you gave a whole bunch of kings and queens an opportunity to shine, showcase their talent. It was real good. Matter of fact, to see Jason Weaver, for those y'all don't know, that's Marcus from the 90s Disney sitcom, smart guy, and also the singing voice of Simba, in which he's still getting them coins for singing as Simba on the Lion King. Good to see him. Always good to see the beautiful Miss Lynn Whitfield, who is 70 years old, still looking good. That was black TV excellence. Although it was one scene that stuck out to me. There was a Thanksgiving scene where, you know, Emmett met his half brother, and he brought some candy yam with some marshmallows. He said, "What is that? Is that marshmallows in there?" And his dad was like, "Oh, that's the white side." I don't know where they got that from, because I done seen marshmallow in a couple of black people's candy yams before. That's one thing that stuck out to me. I honestly wish that Jason Mitchell, who started in the first season, y'all know him as Eazy-E on the 2015 biopic Straight Outta Compton. I wish he could have got to see it through, but you know, unfortunate event happened after the first season. He couldn't see it all the way through, but it's been a good run, y'all. Hope next season wraps up everybody's storyline, and I like to see everybody walk away happy, but I know that won't be the case. Speaking of Chicago, man, I cannot wait for Power Book 4 Force. You know, that's Tommy's series that he got that takes place in Chicago. I seen the trailer. Oh my God. It's finna be I know it's crazy because it's a TV show, but like we say when I grow up, it's finna be a movie, boy. It is really finna be a movie, man. On the Spotify, Spotify did they big one this week. Y'all know I always, for the last couple episodes, got on here and criticized the way Spotify done change up stuff, like when they do their Friday drops and new music. They was on it this week. A lot of people released some projects this week. And I'm just going to break it down by region. We're going to start off in Cali. We're going to start off in LA because that's where this person is from. Doja Cat released an album. You can say what you want to say. Say the woman is weird and might say she's demonic, but the woman is talented. She proved that on the song Jesus that featured Kodak Black on the Book of Clarence soundtrack. Her new album, Vi. Hey man, that thing was, I loved her album. She took it back to the mid to late 80s with her beats and everything. The woman is just a musical treasure. And definitely ain't bad on the eyes either. She weird as hell, but she fine than a motherfucker. I gotta give her that. It was good. We're gonna go down and we're gonna go a little inland California. And another one of my favorite West Coast, I say neo G-Funk / lifestyle rappers, Jimmy Waters, came out with his Talking Money Volume 2. And this one was a little different than all the other albums he usually put out. It was 22 tracks and an hour long. But it was just this perfect for, like I always say, I judge it based on how I feel. You can ride to it on the sunset, along the coast, watching the ocean, seeing palm trees lined and looking off and see the mountains. This is definitely one of those albums for that. And if you got you a chick that really understand music like that, this is one where you just post up and park somewhere and y'all sit and vibe, eat in and out. Like if you in California, you love that god awful shit. Or puff on the devil's lettuce. Or if you bold enough, pour you up a drink. And y'all just sit and get to know each other. Gonna roll on out to Texas. L.E. Dollar Sign came back with his album, Major Without a Major Deal. In that lifestyle rap category, It Rides Too. I can see myself driving through Houston listening to that at nighttime, looking at the skyline, and you definitely gonna be able to listen to that album when you get to where you need to go, because as big as Houston is, it's like a friend of mine said about Houston. It takes an hour to get from Houston to Houston, but this is definitely gonna help you pass the time. And of course, he did his trademark, having an album cover with no caption on it. But that's just the way it is. But hey, it was fire. We're gonna go to Tennessee, Memphis. Don Tripp released his album, Forgiveness is God's Job, Part 1, which I'm kind of happy because that means Part 2 is going to be somewhere cooking later on. He had Kendrick P all through that album, and of course, he had Starlito on one track, but hey, it's a bunch of other people that was on it, so it's numerous people. I can't name all of them, so y'all charge that to my head, not my heart, but hey, the man's wordplay, this man is a lyrical G. To me, I'm going to be honest, Don Tripp is like a more serious Ludacris. Y'all know Ludacris. I always used to tell people that Ludacris was a rapper. I mean, a comedian that just happens to rap. Don Tripp is like him if he was serious. Man is a great lyricist. Looking forward to Part 2 of this. Now, the last album, I kind of made me mad because I'm a fan of this, big fan of this guy. Been a fan of him since his first mixtape hit the streets back in like 04, when I was like 9th going to the 10th grade of high school. Jeezy and DJ Drama gave us a Gangsta Grills. And so we all had our hopes up because we know them two get together and make Gangsta Grills. It's going to be amazing. But this one, he got Still Snowing. It to me is kind of like the Tiny Desk concert of Jesus albums. It was not that he wasn't spitting anything. It just he had too many old school like R&B beats, and he was trying to rap, and they didn't go together. Like his flow didn't go with the beats. That was just it. Like the two was fighting for dominance over the track, and it was hard to listen to, and I'm really sad about that. But yeah, that's going on with music. In the world of football, NFL, two storied franchises squared off. That's the Cowboys and the Packers. And the game ended in a tie. Boy, both the Cowboy Nation and the Cheeseheads from up in Wisconsin, they heated about that. All of them say this ain't soccer, this ain't European football, it's American football. We don't need to end it in a tie. You can't hardly get either one of them people on the phone right now. It's just, ooh, yeah, that was boy, I've had to tread lightly with both of my friends from both camps all week long. Can't get any of them on the phone. But hey, man, I'm not going to even lie, man. College football is looking more exciting than NFL football. Speaking of college football, y'all bear with me because my team, who became 8th ranked in the nation, the Florida State Seminoles, were defeated by the University of Virginia Cavaliers 46-38 in double overtime. Now, y'all, I'm going to be honest. I'm not that disappointed in it because the first 3 games we had, like I said, the Bama game, I'm probably going to talk about that one all season because that's still shocking that we beat Alabama because I thought we was going to get the dogs walk with us. But after the East Texas A&M game and the Kent State game, I'm like, I'm not got a good feeling about this because those are just, don't pushovers. And I give it to Florida State. You know, they hung 38 on them, took them to double overtime, and lost in the last bit when Timothy Castellanos threw an interception. And then the Cavaliers stormed the field. Now, I'm going to say this. The people who was making those memes about the wide receiver, he died and all that shit is not funny. And I'm not just saying that because it's my team. That is not funny. That is very, people, mental health is a very big concern nowadays. You doing that ain't something to play. Death is not something to play with. I wouldn't even wish death on my worst enemy. I might wish that they have a near-death experience and they go down there to hell and experience hell and realize it's real. They come back and they become a better person. But I would never wish that they get up out of here for good. But man, hey, Florida State, Seminoles, y'all fought the good fight. I mean, you went down, you lost, I'm disappointed, but to go down in double overtime, 38-46, I can live with that. This is part of me being mature. You gotta learn to live with some stuff, and there's some stuff I'm gonna have to learn to live with. I'm kind of holding my breath for Miami. But like I said, at least I know we're going to beat Florida. Yeah, we're gonna dog walk Florida. So like I said, if anything, we're going to at least get 4 wins out this season. I forgot about this NFL football. My Denver Broncos. Oh, yeah. Them boys did the damage to the Cincinnati Bengals. 28-3. Oh, I'm loving that for my Broncos. We at 500 right now. I want to say I'm sorry to my homeboy, my brother Sonny G. Y'all know he was my roommate and still like a best friend to me, close brother to me. He's from Cincinnati, so he a Bengals fan. He was my room. Like I said, we talked on the phone and I mentioned to him. He took it in stride, man. But I had to wait a couple of days because I didn't want to pour salt into the wound. Well, I'm be honest, I actually almost missed the game, and I ended up catching it at the end, and I've been busy at work. But I ended up talking to him yesterday. We talked, and I said he was like, it is what it is, man. But yeah. Since I jumped back to NFL football, I got to talk about this. These older white conservative men are losing their mind about the halftime show for this year's Super Bowl. For those of y'all don't know, Bad Bunny is going to be the performer of the halftime show for this year's Super Bowl. People, older white, conservative people lose their mind. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to really watch it. And it has nothing to do with Bad Bunny being gay and Hispanic and all that like that or nothing like that. Because here's the thing. Yeah, some people say they're not going to watch it because it's Hispanic. I don't really know none of the man's music like that. I don't really follow his music. But it has nothing to do with them singing Hispanic. Because here's the thing. I will sing Come On La Flor by Selena all day long and don't hardly know half the damn lyrics. And I will sing Balamos by Enrique Iglesias. Y'all know Balamos, let the rhythm take you over. Don't act like y'all don't remember that being at the end of the Wild Wild West VHS back in the day. Y'all remember that. So every time that come on, I start singing that. But yeah, Bad Bunny is just not my cup of tea. Nothing against. I'm happy the man getting his coin. Happy him getting his coin. Like I said, they ain't got nothing to do with him being gay. Let me tell you something. Love Tevin Campbell. We all knew Tevin Campbell was gay, but he came out the closet. He came out the closet. That was not a shock to anybody. Luther Vandross, he didn't come out before he died, but there's a CNN documentary where it finally addresses him being gay. And we still love Luther. And also my uncle, everybody's like favorite uncle, Little Richard. We all knew he was tutti frutti as they come. And I loved him. So yeah, it's just, I just don't know the man, stuff like that. And that's not my cup of tea. But hey man, get your coins, dude. It's a beautiful thing for you. So Bad Bunny, congratulations on securing that. And you probably gonna get like millions and millions of followers after that. This week movies. 2 movies I ended up watching. One was on Netflix. It was directed by Devon Franklin, and it was in conjunction with Tyler Perry. But it actually was a good movie. It was Ruth and Boaz. Now, if a lot of y'all, if you went to church with your mama, your grandmama, or your auntie, you know the story of Ruth and Boaz. It starred Soraya as Ruth. For those y'all don't remember Soraya, that was Tiana from the hit Fox series Empire. Tyler Lepley from, y'all know him, that's Diamond. From Stars, P-Valley, which we don't know if it's ever coming back. Ladies, I'm going to just tell y'all, hang it up. I think P-Valley P-Valley was a nigga production. You know, people put it on the shelf or did something and just forgot all about it. And they like, well, shit, it's been laid up so long. Let's not even worry about it. Even people who are fan of that, man, don't even worry about it because people ain't going to remember who everybody is. And he plays Boaz. And Felicia Rashad, I don't have to tell you who this is or what she's famous for. That is a queen if ever we as black people had one. She plays Naomi. And it's a great updated version of the classic biblical story. You know, Ruth was like a secular singer. She wasn't feeling it like that. She tries to walk away from it. Her producer, he tries to blackmail her. He tries to hold her back. Say, you owe me all this. You can't go anywhere. And shows Boaz come in. He's being patient. And like I said, it's a real, you got to watch it. Like, if you know your Bible, you'll love this story. However, thing about it, I'm going to say, the way the way Naomi did with Ruth, I don't know if I'm going to sit there and encourage you to love somebody else after my son who was in love with you has passed. Like, I ain't got nothing with you moving on, but I ain't going to encourage it. Like, I don't want to see with nobody else but mine. But everybody did their thing. It wasn't super preachy. It wasn't over the top. And it was a great representation. That was a great acting, great writing. They had the essence of the biblical story without being too involved in it. And Ruth was the essence of, y'all know, Proverbs 31, a virtuous woman. That right there, ladies, a virtuous woman. Because, you know, a lot of y'all ladies been out there posting Proverbs 31, and a lot of y'all really ain't that type of woman that Proverbs 31 is describing. You know, y'all be talking about Proverbs 31, but the next thing you know, we see you drinking Tito's, twerking, going, get it, man. Like, that ain't no. We like it. I ain't gonna lie, I like it, but you ain't virtuous. You know, you got that Jezebel spirit in you, you know, and I need to come give you the rod of correction. You know, that's what that is. But anyway, other movie that I saw, it was on Prime. It was Play Dirty by Mark Wahlberg and Lakeith Stanfield, who I hadn't seen in nothing in a few years. So I'm glad to see him. I think the last movie I saw Lakeith Stanfield in was Haunted Mansion, Disney's updated version of Haunted Mansion in 2023. And Mark Wahlberg, you know, Mark Wahlberg dude. I swear Mark Wahlberg does not age. I don't know if it's just good genes or he get hell of good work done. But Mark Wahlberg look good. Wait a minute, pause. Mark Wahlberg look good for his age. Let me say that. Hold on, he look good for his age. The lady they had actress in there, Rosa Sanchez. Ooh, she was fine as hell. It's good seeing all three of these people in there getting their shine on, but I'm going to say this. That movie, it didn't know what it wanted to be. It didn't know if it wanted to be a heist movie, a comedy. It was like a mix of Now You See Me with Ocean's 11 with Tower High. It was so many different type of movies and movie formats they were trying to put together, and it was hard to keep my attention in it. Very hard to keep my attention in it. But like I said, it was shot wonderfully, great performance, but it couldn't really keep my attention. Like it's like 2-3 movies mixed in one. So it was hard to see what type of tone they was going for. The tone was real hard. Now I'm finna get into the basis of what this episode is about. So, as many of y'all know, Secretary of Defense, because that's what I'm not calling that ridiculous Secretary of War. That sounds like some stupid shit off a video game. Pete Hegseth, which I really don't wish this man didn't have my damn name. I think I might go back to use my real first name, cousin. Had a meeting with 800 of the highest brass. It's like admirals, generals, E9s from different services. You know, he met with all of them at Quantico, Virginia. And he was talking about how he's revamping the military. And boy, when I tell you, that was a clusterfuck. First of all, he had the big flag up in the back, and he's walking around while he's talking. I don't know if the man thought he was doing a TED Talk or if he thought he was George C. Scott in the opening scene of the classic movie Patton. But I have never seen any political official address anybody on a military standpoint and not be behind the podium. The way he was walking around, I'm like, what are you doing? And then to make it bad, he paused to get his coffee and said, I need my coffee. I'm like, you don't pause and say that. Matter of fact, when you're not supposed to, I've never seen nobody give an official address and drink coffee. He talked to them about what do you want to do for the military's warriors, which he overused so much. And in the midst of saying that he was talking about the adversaries, this man looked dead at 800 of the most battle-tested, qualified members of our military And referring to our enemies, he said, F-A-F-O, straight like that. And just knew he said something great. Look, and I'm like, I know you didn't just use a texting / social media acronym to all these high-level military officials. And he really thought he said something real smooth. He just knew it. That shit was foul. He just knew it when he said it, because he looked and it's like, and it was dead quiet. So he kept on. He went on and called admirals, and general said it's tough to look out and see admiral and generals walking around the Pentagon fat. Now, here's the thing. So he like Candace Owens, you know. You can't stand their ass, and they full of shit, but sometimes they say something. And that was a big thing for me in the military. You want us to uphold a standard that you're not upholding yourself. So I'm like, I kind of agree with that. He said going back to having 2 PT tests a year, because, at least for the Navy, I know this, they dropped to 1 PT test a year. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm with it. Because, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. The reason the military did that is when I know the Navy, numbers were dropping. They need to get anybody in they can, which is why they kind of, I'm not going to lie, the military got a lot of shitty people within their ranks. A lot of people that ain't got no discipline, nothing like that, but it's shit that they did years before. Where they drove everybody out over stupid shit. Now they're like, well, damn, we ain't got nobody in here. And they dropped their standards. So I'm with him on that. But he was talking about regular PT every day. And he was like, now, if your Secretary of War, which he called himself, idiot, can do strenuous PT daily, then why? And I've seen the video and everybody, and if you one of them people that's taking up for them goofy ass pull-ups he was doing, man, I'm really watching my back around you. And y'all know the usual suspect who do it. Because now it was him and RFK Jr. around a bunch of military personnel, some of the best in shape military personnel. They had to do 100 push-ups and like 50 pull-ups in like 10 minutes. RFK was in there knocking them bitches out. You tell he spent some time on the yard or something. But Pete Hegseth was like struck. He wasn't even clearing the bar. When I say he a pumping, but he wasn't clearing the bar. And he even struggled with the lab view. He just looked bad, just swinging his legs and all that. And they had somebody break him down. It was somebody, I think it was Spec Ops. He said, well, the way he's doing them, because he did them underhand, he said, that's the way females do it. So he ain't even doing the way males do it. But you want to hold these people to that standard, and you can't do it. Then he went on, and this is where he really lost a lot of people. He's talking about getting rid of beards. And now, military, usually, if you had a beard, it's because you got razor bumps, you got an exception to that, or you had a religious, probably like you Muslim, you Norse, pagan, or you Sikh. Man say he don't care nothing about a religious exemption, say he don't care nothing about you having that. Said people got to shave, they get treatment for a year, and if they still have that, they still have a problem with the beard, he's sending them home. Admin separation, which is not bad, but it ain't good. So you're going to send a lot of people home for on administrative separation for a medical condition. That is wild. And there's people in there talking about some, like, and who's really killed me with all this stuff is these people who served decades ago, like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, talking about, I don't want beards in there. That motherfucker, they had beards in there when you were in there. I've seen pictures of veterans, especially in the Navy, where people had beards. They always had them beard things in there, talking about some, we getting back to that. And you know, mainly the people who be always gung-ho about their service, I guarantee you, it's people who did like 4 years, possibly 8, maybe 6. Gotta let you talk to them. They was Billy Badass in the Navy. Or the Army, the Marine Corps, whatever. But they barely did their, probably nobody liked their ass. They was annoying as fuck. And they barely made E5, if they even made E5. talking about what's going on, talking about the beards. We don't need no thing in the beard. See, this is how I know these people out of touch, because if you talk to anybody who is in the military now or got out recently, the number one thing that people have been wanting, at least for like, I'm gonna say the past decade, if not more, everybody from the people who could get the beards to the people who couldn't, everybody wants beards. Everybody wants a beard. Because you look goofy. I'm gonna tell you like this, and people can pinpoint that you're in the military when you don't do that. And that's number one thing I used to hate. Like, remember being on my first deployment, we'll hear Liberty reports. They would always tell us, don't make it obvious that you're a military service member. Now, here's the thing. I don't understand why they can't understand that. You see people coming out, no sideburns, mustache that they can't come past their lips, and no chin hair. It's not that hard to figure. And hell, it's not only that's putting you more at risk than wearing a shirt and say, hey, I'm in the Navy, whatnot. And then not only that, when you come back stateside, it's also put you line of fire. Here's the thing. All these towns that these bases in, people know who in the military. There's many times on my first tour in saying that I go out, I meet some people, like especially women or something, and I get talked to, oh, you in the Navy. And I'm like, how you figure that? I said, well, number one, your Southern accent. That's a dead giveaway that you are in the military. So your accent, your mannerisms, and on top of that, the fact you got a mustache that don't come past your lips and no beard. And I don't know if you notice, people target military people. They target to rob them. They target to scam them. They got a lot of women target them to have babies by them and get benefits, to be taken care of for the rest of their life. Like, that's what I'm saying. If anything else, you need to do this, let them have it safe because they can blend in. Because I remember when I first finally got my shave shit, they call it Navy. Every other thing is wave or profile. Sitting there chilling, hanging out with my local homies. And I said I had to leave. I said, what you had to leave? I said, oh, man, I got duty tomorrow. And one of my homies was like, you got duty? Like, yeah, I'm in the Navy. He said, man, I thought you got out. I didn't know you was still in. And I love that because it helped me blend in. So that is really, like, that's going to drive a lot of people out. I don't care what nobody says. A couple people like, nah, people going to still join and whoop-de-whoop. No. And then he also said he wanted basic training to go back to being tough, installing healthy fear into recruits, basically saying you can lay hands on these recruits. I'm going to tell anybody, I'm going to tell you drill sergeants in the Army, you DIs in the Marines, you RDCs in the Navy, the MIs in the Air Force, and I don't know what the Coast Guard called they people. You gonna FAFO because you're gonna mess around and do that shit to the wrong recruit. Even the drill sergeant on TikTok even said, "Hey man, if you know you can't fight, don't you put your hands on them." He said, "You're gonna get your spirit hurt, and people gonna lose respect for you because ain't nobody going. Now your recruit's gonna take you serious, but it's gonna be some little goofy, a bunch of little goofies that's gonna do that thinking, oh, I got power, I got." And let me tell you something. Everybody don't care about them rank tabs. I didn't see E3 straight turn E6, E7 different which way but lose. Couple of them been my friends, and it was justified. So y'all better tread lightly with that shit. Don't let Pete get your ass whooped. You better listen to this Pete and not get your ass whooped instead of listening to that Pete and getting your shit busted. And this is what killed me about what he was saying, man. He was saying he didn't want none of them, like back to the people being fat. He didn't want none of them, his son to have to serve. And this is the thing, when a lot of people say what they believe they doing, is with the mustache and all that, stuff like that. Because most black men in the military, like 60%, have that condition where they get razor bumps. They can't do that. They can't shave regularly. Everybody say they think he wants the military to look clean cut white men that's in shape. And here's the thing I want a lot of people to understand. The average kid from a middle class family with financial stability, he ain't bringing his ass in the military. So the people you want to come in, they ain't coming. Not in droves like that. I'm from a decent working class family, like kind of financially stable. And the amount of my friends, who good people who are now starting to generate generational wealth for their kids, a lot of them, they came from the dirt, man. They came from the mud. They got out the mud, you know, projects, hood, you know, family was in that shit, was in the streets. I mean, some white people in there, but you know, like the kind of white guys you want the clean cut, like you don't run into too many of them, dog. Like they not coming in line with it. And then another thing he did, he want to get rid of anonymous reporting, and he said he's wiping people's slates clean. You know, if they got infractions and all that, like toxic leaders, he basically trying to like wipe their shit clean and give them a clean slate. And I say he getting rid of anonymous reporting. That means, so if somebody, because the big thing people don't know in the military is sexual assault. Like last year alone, there was over 8,000 cases for sexual assault. So now these poor victims, most of them women, they doing them bad. They basically doing them like they did Vanessa Gilliam at Fort Hood a few years ago. Like they just throwing them out there with no support, man. It's sad. It's scary. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. I know a couple people whose daughters are in the military. I would be scared for my daughter's life right now. I wouldn't even, if I had a daughter talk about it, I said, nah, baby, at least wait, go work a job somewhere, and then in a couple years join when that man, when Agent Orange and Whiskey Pete is out of the office. Because, yeah, this is scary. And he had the nerve to talk about that they were going to promote based on merit. Like he said, people should get shit based on merit. Now, here's the thing, which is crazy to me. Motherfucker, you didn't get your job by merit. You got your job on the homeboy hookup. Bro, you were a major in the National Guard. It was a four-star general of the Air Force that had this job that got relieved of it, and you got it as a major in the National Guard. Was attached to the Ranger unit, never got your Ranger patch. What I heard from people, if you're an officer that never got your Ranger patch attached to the Ranger unit, that's a bad fucking look. Got 3 divorces, a sex scandal, and a DUI. And in one of them damn divorces, they said you allegedly put your hands on the woman. You know, they put allegedly in there because, you know, they were like, because, you know, more people are like, oh, you allegedly did not. Like Kane said, whatever they said, like Kane said on Power, whatever they said he did that shit. It was like I said, I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. And the pictures that they showed of the top brass, like, it's a 4-star Space Force general. Go try to find the picture. He is in the front row, eyes bugged open like, this shit cannot be real. And then it's another, I can't make out what his rank is. He in the back, got look, this man got his face palm. He's like, he pretty much remind me like Snoop Dogg on the watch when they was calling DJ Pooh and old boy that kidnapped, they kept saying their name. He had his, I know he's probably like Snoop in that scene, this got to be the stupidest motherfucker. But the cherry on top of all of this, y'all, was the way he ended it. This man looked these folk dead in there. He said, move out and draw fire. I was like, motherfucker, what? Because the draw fire, for people who don't know, I got this confirmed from somebody who's been in combat. To draw fire, that means you want them to fire on something to divert them away from you trying to move or something. So you basically just told these people to go into the cannon fodder. And then when he said, he just knew that shit stuck. He knew it was going to say, move out and draw fire. And just stood there and thought they were going to applaud them. He said, thank you for your time, and God bless, and walked off stage. It was like Daffy Duck on the Looney Tunes. Crickets. And of course, you know them idiot Trumpers. Oh, that's because they was at attention. No, let me tell you something. You're talking to somebody who been in military formation. You get called at attention, but if that person talking was saying something real that you agree with, after you do that, you start clapping. It was silent. And I'm not going to even go into what Agent Orange had to say. I don't have the time, and I just, anyway, man, that's been my time on the porch, man. Y'all can find me on Facebook. Search for my name. You can find me on Instagram, PeteMac10, PeteYMac10. You can find me on TikTok, PeteMac89. Same as Instagram, except drop the 1 and the 0, put an 8 and a 9. You know, y'all like my content, comment on it, share it, subscribe. Your boy can definitely use some more followers, so please subscribe. But you know, until our next time on the porch, y'all, be cool, stay calm, get paid. Peace.